Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Gothenburg, Göteborg as you'd say in Swedish, and we're going to revisit a brewery that I've not reviewed anything from, I guess, in over a year or maybe 2 years at least, but I've had some very good experiences with this brewery in the past. So for this one we're going to go back to the Phantom Brewery, if you can call them that, or Gypsy Brewery. I'm not sure exactly what term they prefer. We're going to go back to Electric Nurse, and today we're having a taste of their Dark Skull. So this one is described as an Imperial Coconut Stout. It comes in at 10.7% and it should be really nice. I don't know if I've had any stouts from Electric Nurse before, but I reviewed their Marmalade IPA and I have tried a couple of other beers from them as well, and I've been very impressed with the different things that they do. So looking forward to trying something a little bit different from these guys, and as I said earlier, you know, it's cool to go back to a brewery after, you know, quite a bit of time. So it should be a good beer, should be interesting. I hope you guys enjoy my take on it, and we'll see how we get on. So yeah, as always with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website link to my other reviews that I've done from Electric Nurse before. No doubt I will add some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Electric Nurse then. So as I mentioned earlier on, Electric Nurse are a Phantom Brewery or Gypsy Brewery, however you want to call them. They don't have their own brewery. Basically they brew at a variety of different host breweries, and they were founded back in 2012 by Peter Robertson and Ida Engström. So Peter is an electrical engineer while Ida is a nurse, hence why they came up with the name Electric Nurse. But both of them really love the American hoppy beers, and they released their first beers back in early 2013. More recently they've been expanding their range to produce a few different styles. You know, they've got the Imperial Stouts now, they've got a few IPAs, a few double IPAs, they've been doing some hazy IPAs and things like that as well. I'm sure they've been doing a couple of sour beers and things like that as well actually. I'm not quite sure about that, but they've also added a third member to the team, which is Jesper, and both Peter and Ida are now working full time at the brewery, and most of their beer is actually produced at the Dugas Brewery, which I believe is, I want to say it's out of Mölndal, that one. But they also produce some of their other beers at other breweries around the Gothenburg area. There seems to be quite a lot of that, you know, there's quite a few gypsy breweries around the Gothenburg area, and they use the big breweries like Popels or, you know, the Dugas Brewery as well. There seems to be a lot of kind of gypsy brewing, if you like, around Gothenburg. Gothenburg definitely is the beer city of Sweden these days. There's a hell of a lot of good breweries up there. You know, you've got Electric Nurse, Popels, Dugas, Bearded Rabbit, Stigbergets, OO Brewing. You know, there's a lot of really good breweries up there, and Brewers Bar, of course, in the city is one place that you definitely want to check out. I really need to go up to Gothenburg and explore for a weekend or something like that, so that's something for me that I'll definitely be doing in the fairly near future. And for those of you that are beer lovers like me, it's something that you should definitely do as well. Copenhagen's a great beer city. Gothenburg is worth the trip over into Sweden as well. But yeah, Electric Nurse, one of the quite highly rated Gothenburg craft breweries, and in my experience that's very kind of very deserved actually. I really enjoyed the Marmalade IPA that I had from these guys before. So yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery just now. If you want to learn a little bit more, check out the brewery website in the description below. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, and keep up to date with the latest goings on. But one of the Gothenburg Phantom or Gypsy breweries, however you want to call them. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So like I told you at the start of the video, this one is a 10.7% Imperial Stout. It says on the side here, Dark Skull is a heavy metal collaboration between our metal-loving brewer Peter and musician and craft beer fan Victor Brandt, who is from Untappd, also Firespawn at Total Jävla Mörker, so basically Total. Total, oh my god, Total Godly Darkness, I think that could translate to, or Total devilly darkness, if that band name translates properly. I'm not quite sure exactly how you translate that, but it says they headbanged their heads together to create a stout in true Entombed AD spirit, brewed with roasted barley, chocolate and oat malts, roasted coconut and coconut sugar, unfiltered to retain as much taste as possible. Store it in a cool and dark place until serving. Ida and Peter, electricnurse.sa. But yeah, really nicely presented this one. I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork before we open it up. Really nice, as I say, really nicely presented beer. I do like the Electric Nurse artwork. You can see there's a little bit that I read to you. You can pause it and read it for yourself again. And there is a little bit of some information on the side there. Plain bottle cap, as you always get with the Electric Nurse beers, because they are a gypsy brewery. But yeah, nicely presented. 10.7% Imperial Coconut Stout. Not much more to say about it. So without further ado, let's get this guy open and we'll get on with the tasting then. Looking forward to this. Nice little bit of a smoky opening there, some CO2 escaping into the atmosphere, polluting the world, as I always do with these craft beers, I guess. But yeah, let's get it out. And into the glass. Sugar up the last little bit. And there we go. So yeah, as you can see, and as you would expect from an Imperial Stout, this one's poured a nice sort of dark ebony rosewood colour. If I hold it up to the light, you know, yeah, pretty much it's got a little bit of a dark chestnut to the edge of it, maybe a very, very small hint of ruby, but yeah, pretty much as you would expect. The aroma that's coming off this one right away is actually quite roasted. It's a lot of black malt actually that I'm getting out of the aroma there. As you can see, there's a half finger of a frothy, kind of medium tan head on this one, I would say. It's quite nicely presented. There's one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass there, and quite a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, overall it does look really nice. I don't know if this beer would be transparent or not, because you simply can't see because of the colour. But yeah, dark ebony rosewood, nice kind of medium tan head. Pretty much looks exactly as you would want from an Imperial Stout. So let's take a closer look at the aroma and just see how we get on with this one. Yeah, straight away coconut jumps right out at you, which you would expect, to be honest. Nice little bit of roasted black malt there. As I was saying, that was quite apparent when I opened the bottle up. You can smell the booziness to this beer as well. There's definitely a good presence of chocolate in this one. It's quite a high cocoa chocolate, you know, maybe an 80-90% cocoa, something like that. One of these darker chocolate notes in there. Good little bit of brown sugar. I'd say it's a kind of treacly note actually, and to be honest, that's mixing well with the kind of coconut notes that are coming out of this one. That's what I think the really interesting fusion about this beer is. The brown sugar's that dark, toasted, syrupy brown sugar, along with the nice kind of coconutty elements to the beer. Yeah, and you can definitely smell the boozy character in this one at 10.7%. It's almost like a, is it pina? No, it's not pina colada. It's definitely that boozy, coconutty type thing with this one, which is really interesting. Just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer with this one before you get stuck in. As I always say, that's half the experience when it comes to craft beers and whiskies and sakes and stuff like this. But it smells lovely. A little bit of earthy hoppiness to this one as well, some kind of candied red fruits. I would say a little bit raisiny, to be honest. It's got a little touch of raisiny sharpness to it, this one. And a sort of figgy note. It's almost got a little bit of that kind of medicinal, kind of phenol quality to it, which is it's kind of interesting too. It's almost got that cakey, boozy phenol note to it. But as I say, take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma before you get stuck into it. But let's have a taste of this one then. So this one is the Dark Skull from Electric Nurse, one of the gypsy phantom breweries around the Gothenburg area, a collaboration with Victor Brandt from Entombed AD, a 10.7% Imperial Coconut Stout. Let's get stuck into this one then. Slange, Skull. Oh yeah, that's a nice beer. That is a really, really nice one. That the thing, my first impression of this one is it's kind of surprisingly light in the mouthfeel, if that makes sense. And I think that's the coconut. I've always found coconut. It's one of these. I don't really know how you would describe that, but for me, coconut's always been one of these things. that it's an incredibly light, it's almost like an infused flavour. And for me, just the first impression I got of this beer was that it's a little bit, the mouthfeel, if you like, is a little bit surprising just because of how light it is, if that makes sense. It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how everything is going together in this one. I like how, yeah, let's just start with the malt base with this one then. So you can feel it's got this roasted black malt character, that's kind of forming the linchpin of the beer, if you like. And I'm finding this one, as you go further into the aftertaste, it's sweetening up a little bit. It really is kind of sweetening up there a little bit. So on top of that black malt, you can feel there's a touch of the pale malt in there. The black malt is forming the linchpin of beer, there's a little bit of the pale malt on top of that, but then you start to get the chocolatey notes out of this one. And it's actually, compared to the aroma, I was thinking in the aroma it's quite, I was predicting that it would be quite a dark, kind of high cocoa chocolate that's coming out of this one, but it actually is surprisingly milky, if that makes sense. And it's almost like the coconut flavours, if you like, and I'm guessing because they added coconut sugar to this beer as well as actual coconuts. It's kind of, the chocolatey, it's really infused. I mean, it really reminds me, I don't think you get them in Sweden, if you like, but these Bounty chocolates that you get at home in Scotland, these Bounty chocolate bars, the coconut chocolate bars, it really reminds me of that, this beer. If the guys at Electric Nurse end up watching this, get some Bounty chocolate bars, because it really does taste like that. Yeah, I think the chocolatey elements to this beer, it really does come across as being quite milky because of how that coconut flavour's infused in it. When you come towards the front of the palate, at the back of the palate, it leans a little bit more towards the roasty side of things, but as you come towards the front of the palate, it does have a little bit more of that coconutty note. It does get a little bit sweeter towards the front of the palate, and that's, like I said, where you're getting these more milky, chocolatey flavours, I would say. And that's quite nice. There is almost a little touch of a slightly woody, or maybe even leathery note to this one, and there's almost a little touch of a very slightly ashy kind of thing towards the front of the palate as well. Like, if you just come in front of that, behind where you'd normally get that oily bubble where the fruity notes come out on your palate, there's a little bit going on, as I say, a little bit of a leathery, woody kind of thing, maybe even just a little tiny touch of an almost ashy thing in there. I do wonder if there's a little bit of English hop in here, just by the way the flavours are coming out. But yeah, it's mainly this beer. It's one of the sweeter Imperial stouts I've had recently. I definitely say that about this. It is a really, really nice beer, this one, and you know, that's one of the cool things about Systembolaget, is that you can have a beer like this, and it's in the regular range. This is actually, it's one of these ones I've never, until now, I mean, I think this has been around since not long after I came to Sweden in 2015. But I've just never got around to reviewing it, and in some ways that's disappointing. But the fact that you can get a beer of this quality in the regular range in Systembolaget from a gypsy brewery, from a phantom brewery, I think that's pretty impressive actually. So yeah, have a go at this one for yourself and just see what you think. But I'm pretty impressed with this, I have to say. Well done to Electric Nurse for this beer. A little bit disappointed in myself that I didn't review it sooner, to be quite honest. But yeah, we've covered the malt base quite well, so on to the hoppy side of things. Back corners of the palate, fairly earthy. As I say, I do wonder if there's a bit of English hop in here. As you come further forward, it smooths out a little bit. That earthiness spreads quite far forward actually. There's maybe a little touch of floral quality, the very small touch on the front corners of the palate, then round the very front curve of the tongue. There's a nice little bit of a lighter sort of grassy note to this beer. And then behind the front curve of the palate, of course, that's where you get that little oily bubble where those juicy, fruity esters start to come out of it. And for me, yeah, It's got a little bit of a figgy base to it, this one. There's a sort of candied, fruity ester to the beer, this. But for me, mainly it's figs. It doesn't really have too much in the way of sharpness and things. So it's not really raisiny. It's maybe got a little touch of plums or something like that, or prunes. There's a little bit of that there, but mainly for me it's a figgy, candied red fruit ester that comes out of this one. But overall, you know, it's a lovely, lovely beer. It really is. Very nice, and as I say, the impressive thing about this is that it's in the Systembolaget range, and it's from one of the Phantom breweries. You know, it's pretty cool. And I mean, if it's in a they will have to keep their production fairly high for it to be in one of the regular Systembolaget things. But this beer really is good. I'm impressed with this one. Overall, in terms of the Imperial Stout style, the flavour for me, it's got an element of the more roasty, toasty side of things to it, but it does lean a little bit more towards the kind of sweeter Imperial Stout. It pretty much is kind of what it says in the tin, you know, the coconut flavours come out really nicely. In the aftertaste, it's that earthy hop that's kind of sitting there, and it's the earthiness, the way the earthiness comes out in this one to me is distinctive of English hops. I do wonder if they've used English hops in this beer. But it's the roasted black character that comes out of this one. It's a little bit more bitter in the aftertaste. The sweetness kind of comes earlier on in this beer, but it really is very nice. In terms of the mouthfeel and stuff like that, it's a mid-bodied beer. Maybe at the top end of mid-bodied, I think that's fair. Carbonation's very smooth. It's got a little bit of an oily character. In some ways it's a little bit creamy as well, if that makes sense. Good little bit of hoppy bitterness to it. In terms of the IBUs, I'd guess it's maybe... I think it's maybe around the sort of 50-ish, 60-ish mark, somewhere around there actually, this one. But it's got a lot of sweetness to the beer to balance that out. It's not overly sweet, it is very well balanced. The aftertaste is more roasty, toasty. The first part of the flavour is a little bit sweeter, I would say. Nice juicy fruity notes. But yeah, overall, it's a really interesting beer, this one. It's got pretty much everything you would want. If you like an Imperial Coconut Stout, as it says on the label, I think you will enjoy this one. It really is very, very well done. And it's, you know, for a gypsy brewery to have this in the regular range in Systembolaget, I think that's pretty cool. One of the other gypsy breweries you really want to check out in this regard, if you like the big Imperial Stouts, Mohawk Brewing are another really good Swedish brewery, so check them out as well. But yeah, a big thumbs up to Electric Nurse for this one. It's been IPAs I've had from them so far, and I always think that's a good measure of a brewery. If you get something from the IPA, the lighter side of the scale, and you get something from the darker side, and they do it well, then that's a very good measure of a brewery. But Electric Nurse really are doing some really nice stuff, so hopefully they can get their own brewery sorted out, if that's what they want, of course. And they are one of the Swedish breweries, I think, that you need to check out. So yeah, have a go at their beers and see what you think. But this is a really, really nice Imperial Stout, and I definitely recommend it. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. Another really nice beer from Electric Nurse. I will need to see what else I can actually get from these guys. But this one was the Dark Skull, an Imperial Coconut Stout at 10.7% from Electric Nurse, you know, one of the gypsy Phantom breweries around Gothenburg. But once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Check out my social media. Do let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Electric Nurse. Let me know if there's any other breweries around the Gothenburg area that I should check out. But thank you once again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. The Dark Skull from Electric Nurse Brewery in Gothenburg here in Sweden. Until the next time, it's Lange just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. Check out this beer. Skål.